lesson, we're having a look by starting at the square root, right? So first of all, we're going to have a look at what number, when we square it, okay? And remember now, I'm going to be asking you to participate. Maths is a participation subject, so you're going to need to participate. So I'm seeing some people answering for me already. Fantastic. What number, when squared, equals 9? So I'm seeing a lot of you participating already. Well done. I'm going to pick a different color for today. Let's have a look. Let's pick this nice purple color that I had on my screen. Okay, so what number when squared equals 9? You guys are telling me 3. Well done. Right. So now, what's the opposite of saying what number when squared? What's a quicker way than saying that? Well, a quicker way than saying that is, what is the square root of 49? In other words, okay, when they say what is the square root, it also means what number when squared equals 49. It's the exact same thing. It's just a different way of saying it, everybody. So what number when squared, or what is the square root of 49? I'm seeing lots of people getting the right answer there. It is definitely 7. 7 times by 7 gives me 49. Right. Number 3. What number when squared equals 81? Am I seeing some answers? Yes, I am. Well done, everybody. That is 9. 9 times 9 gives you 81. And finally, a bit of a challenge today. What number when squared gives me 225? So when I square a number, which number is it that gives me 225? I'm seeing lots of people giving me 25. Let's go check, everyone. Let's go see. So 25 times by 25. Let's see if we've got the right answer. 5 times 5 gives me 25. So I put the 5 and I carry the 2. 5 times 2 gives me 10. Plus the 2 will give me 12. Now I look at the 20, or this 2. So I put down my 0. 2 times 5 gives me 10. Oh dear. So sorry, everyone. My page just suddenly started jumping all around. So we're back here. 2 times 5 gives me 10. So I put the 0. I don't want to see, okay, I don't want to see this 2 anymore because I don't need him. So I'm going to put the 1 on top there. All right. 2 times 2 gives me 4. Plus the 1 gives me 5. Right. So when I add this together, I'll get 5, 2, 6. So is 25 the right answer? Definitely not. I'm seeing lots of other people there have told me 15. Great, guys. No, 25 is definitely not. And can you see how you can go and check your answers? You can say to yourself, is 25 times 25 225? We saw that that wasn't the right answer. So we can have a look and we can say, okay, let's go check whether 15 is the right answer, because I see some people have put 15 in there now. All right. Oh, the eraser doesn't want to work today for some strange reason. Let's see if it'll let me do it now. There we go. All right, let's do 15 times 15. Again, if your multiplication is not fantastic, guys, remember you can go back onto the videos and you can go and double check multiplication. So 15 times by 15. 5 times 5 is 25. Hey, so I put my 5 and I carry my 2. 5 times 1 is 50, plus the 2 gives me 7. All right. Now what do I need to do? I need to look at the 10. So I put the 0, I cross out this 2. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. What do I need to do now? Add them together. So 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. Put the 1. 1 plus 1 gives me 2. So what number when squared gives me 225? We've seen that the answer is 15. Well done to everybody who worked along with me. A reminder about the chat function that it is for maths related questions. Please make sure that we're following along with the lesson. Okay. Let's have a look at if we had to do it in this spider diagram sort of way. So when I take the number 12 and I square it, 12 squared. Who can tell me? Oh, Samke is so quick today. So 12 squared, what does 12 squared mean? It means 12 times 12. So 12 squared is going to give me 144. Well done, guys. Now, can you see the arrows are going backwards? So they're going this way now. So it says 36 square root, and I'm going to get, well done, everyone, a 6. So in our spider diagrams that we're looking at here, we can see that when we do our spider diagram, all right, okay, we're going to have a look at which way the arrow is. All right, you might remember spider diagrams from ages ago. Maybe last year you did them, maybe grade 5 you did them, but there's a possibility it could come back in grade 7. So we need to make sure that we're following the way. Okay, we're going to have a look at them a little bit later on and see if they're going to come back when we look at cube numbers. All right. So that takes care of all our squares and our square roots. This here in grade 7, what are we doing? We're doing squares and we're doing cubes. So what number when cubed equals 27? Now remember, we're going to keep it going. What number when cubed equals 27? You are right. The answer is 3. For those of us who are still a little bit unsure about this whole thing of cubing, what does cubing actually mean? It means that I'm going to take 3, okay, and I'm going to say 3 times by 3 times by 3. That's what it means to cube. Means to see it 3 times. Another way that we can see that is we can say 3 to the, which we learned about last week. Really important is for you to learn all these little ones off the heart. And for us to know what 3 to the power of 3 is, 3 to the power of 3 would be 27. Okay, so what number when cubed equals 27? It'll be 3. Right. A reminder again about the chat function, everybody. If you do have an error or you're struggling, you need to please send Hugo a private message. Okay. What number when cubed, all right, equals 8? Lots of people getting it right there. Fantastic, guys. It is 2. Because 2 times 2 equals 4 times another 2 will give me 8. So that's great. Well done, everybody. 2 times 2 times 2 is the same thing as saying 2 cubed, or saying 2 to the power of 3. And that's the same thing as saying 8. And finally, number 3, what is the cube root of 1,000? So I'm seeing lots of really good answers there. My answer is going to be 10. All right. 10 times 10 times 10. Well done, everybody. Rock stars today. Really, really good work, everyone. Well done. Okay. So instead of saying to ourselves, what number when cubed, so many words, we just say to ourselves, what is the cube root of 1,000? All right. So remember I told you a little while ago, we're looking at the spider diagram. We're looking at which way the arrows are pointing. In this case, my arrows are pointing this way. So instead of us having to read now, we're going to look at the picture. All right. There's a blank, and then I've got my arrow pointing, and it says cubed. And then I've got my arrow pointing, leads out to 1,000. So if I had to put that into words, what number cubed gives me 1,000? Exactly, we've just done it in the previous one. It's 10. Fantastic. All right. Now, we're going to go the other way, guys. Now we're going to look at, there's a blank space here, and we're going this way now. So, what number, when I cube root it, do I get the answer of 10? And I'm seeing I get 1,000. Great. So I picked the same number there to see if I can trick some of you guys, but you're too smart today. Okay, paying attention. Well done. All right. Okay. So I'm going to give us a table to have a look at. Now, I have told you guys before, a really good way to practice your square roots and your cube roots is to put them into a table, okay? And then to practice that table again and again and again. And while you're having a look at that table, I'm going to answer some questions if there are any. So if you do have any questions, now the time to raise your hand in the chat. I'm going to go have, or in your, on your screen. I'm just going to have a look here. There was a question in the chat that says, ma'am, what if there is more than one cubed number? Like maybe there is more than one answer you can give. What number do you give when that happens? So you're only going to get one number. If you want to raise your hand and give me an example, then we can have a look at that. But there'll also only be one number.
I wanted to ask if you should we start with the cube root or the number?
Okay, so if you have 2 times 2 times 2, then you multiply 2 by itself 3 times. That's why it is the same as saying 2 to the power of 3. That's a short way of writing 2 times with itself 3 times. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Yep.
How do you convert the number 1,000 into a cube number?
How do you convert the number 1,000 into a cubed number? So if you were going to take the number 1,000 and you're going to convert it into a cubed number, then it would be 1,000 cubed. Am I right in saying, Philippi, like you're asking me, how do you cube root 1,000?
Yes. Okay. Clearly awesome.
The other way. Okay, so you need to ask yourself, Philippi, what is it that's going to give you 1,000? All right. So again, for these ones that are really your numbers from number 1 all the way up to number 10, these are ones that you're going to have to learn off by heart. But if I look at 1,000, this is how I remember how to do it all the time. In 1,000, how many zeros have I got, Philippi?
You got 3.
I've got 3 zeros there, hey? Okay, and I've got a 1. So I know already, all right, that 10 times 10. What does 10 times 10 give me, Philippi?
It gives me 1,000.
10 times 10. Careful, what will 10 times 10 give me first?
Oh.
10 times 10 will first give me 1?
It gives me 100.
100, hey? Good.
Yeah.
So, and that only gives me how many zeros? How many zeros will that be? Only 2. Okay?
2.
How many zeros do I need? Okay, I need to have
more.
3 zeros. Good. So I need to times it by 1 more 10.
Okay.
Okay. So I really just need to go and try with these ones to find the right answer. So let's go have a look quickly. Go and try some more of them. And then when we're going through, see if you can see a pattern with them and see if you can pick up a pattern, okay?
Okay.
All right. Nati,
thank you.
No problem, Philippi. Nati, can I answer your question for you?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
When you were doing the work, I couldn't understand because I was not here, ma'am. On the last weekend.
Okay, Nati, so all the lessons will be available on Watobe's website and they'll be available on YouTube. And Mr. Hugo and I will post the link on the chat at the end of this lesson for you. Okay, and then you can go back and you can watch that again. All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you. Right, last question, and then I'm going to go through. Right, Jabulile, how can I help? Oh, Jabulile was here and then she was gone. Kalalela?
Hi, ma'am.
Kalalela? Hi, how can I help?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask you, on 2 times 2 times 2, ma'am, do you see that on number 8? Or number A, I mean.
Yeah.
So when we get our answer, are we supposed to simplify it or is it fine like that?
So for this one, it says you this question's got 3 columns here. It says what the number is, then it asks you for the cube roots, and then this is just for you to check your answer, to go do some workings. All right. So you can leave it as 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. That's perfect. All right. But in your column, what are you going to write in cube roots? You're going to write the number 2.
Okay, ma'am. So we don't simplify it.
Let's have a look when we're going through. Okay, we're going to have a look now.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. Okay, no problem. All right, let's answer some of these and then I will answer some more questions for us. Okay, so 27. If I'm looking at 27, let's have a look at how many of you got these right. The cube root of 27 is 3. Right, I'll go and check my answers for those of you who are unsure. Okay, the cube root of 64. Who can give me the cube root of 64 in the answers? Cube root of 64 is 4. Fantastic. Remember, we're doing cube roots here. Cube roots, everybody. Okay, right. The cube root of 125. Who got the cube root of 125? Good, guys. The cube root of 125 is 5. Great. Well done. Right. What about the cube root of 216? Who got the cube root of 216 for me? Okay, I'm seeing lots of people say 6. Well done. Right. So the cube root of 216 is 6. How about the cube root of 1131? Fantastic. I'm seeing 11. 1,000, we've seen this one a few times today. We should know by now that the cube root of 1,000 is 10. Great work, guys. And finally, what's the cube root of 512? Who can give me the cube root of 512? It is 8. Awesome. Well done. So I'm going to move the screen down so that you can practice doing square roots by yourselves. And while you're practicing that, I'm going to answer some more questions. Okay. All right, there are some challenging ones in here to practice. So let's see how you do. Right, Sasetu, can I help you with your question?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
I got confused on the first table.
Sure.
How
On
did
A.
you get 8 on 9 on 8 squared?
8 squared. It's just, sorry, everybody. So which number is this one? H, 512.
A, the top one, the
A.
first one.
Okay, so for A, it says to me that it wants me to find, so it's asking me to find the cube root, if I had to write it out in words, the cube root of 8 is what it's asking me. Okay, So that's if I had to write it all out in words, instead of just looking at it at the table, it says the cube root of 8. So if I'm looking for the cube root of 8, what is it asking me? It's saying what times what times what gives me 8. So when I look at that, what times what will give me 8, Setu? Okay, now there is a way that we can do this that we learned about last week. Do you remember, were you in our class last week when we learned about exponential notation?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so remember we climbed the ladder last week?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go climb the ladder. What do you think? Let's go try. So we draw 8 on that side. Right. What's the first prime number, Setu?
First prime number 4.
You remember. So 4, no, 4 is not really a prime number. So what's the first number that you can think of that goes in there? 1 definitely goes in, hey? What's the next number that goes into 8?
2.
2, good. What's 8 divided by 2? That will give me
4.
4, hey? Okay. Can 2 go into 4 again?
Yes.
Yeah, so I put it there again. How many times does 2 go into 4?
Once.
Twice. Good. So I put the 2 there. All right. So 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. Right. Can 2 go into 2 again?
Yes, once.
Yes. Good. And I get 1.
1.
So if I had to write this now, what would I say? I would say 8 is equal to
2 times 2 times 2.
good. So what is the cube root of 8?
2 times 2 times 2.
So what's the cube root of 8 going to be? It's going to be 2, hey?
Yes.
Well done. Okay, can you see how we can use last week's lesson?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, Setu. All right. Right, I'm answering another question. Mashle, how can I help you, Mashle? Mashle, you are unmuted. Do you want to ask your question? All right, I'm not hearing from Mashle, so I'm going to move on to Azande. Azande, you are unmuted. Do you want to ask your question?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, how do we get the cube root of any number?
How do you get the cube root of any number?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how do you get the cube root of any number? You need to ask yourself, when we're looking at the number, all right, which number, okay, can go into that number 3 times? So if we're looking at a number like 64, if we're looking at 64, then what we need to remember as well is that it's very important when we're doing this kind of maths to try and learn these ones so that you remember them. That's why these tables are so important, so that you do them again and again and again. You know what I'm saying? So that you go
Yes,
over
ma'am.
and over and over them, hey, all the time. But another way to do them, Azanda, is you can use what we used last week when we did our climbing the ladder. Remember climbing the ladder last week?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
So you can try to use climbing the ladder to help you as well. All right. So for like 64, if we had to climb the ladder at 64, it's going to be a big ladder, I know. Okay. Because we're going to put 2's in it, eh? So we're going to get 2, I'm going to get 32 there. I'm going to get 2, I'm going to have 16. I'm going to have 2, and we're going to have 8. And we're going to have 2 and 4. We're going to have 2 and 2. We're going to have 2, and we're going to have 1. Oh my goodness. So now it's going to say 64 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2. Oh, I'm running out of space. Oopsie. Times 2 times 2. Oh my word, that's so many 2's. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what do we know though? We know, okay, we need to know what's the cube root, hey? So we only want to see something 3 times. But how
Yes,
many
ma'am.
times am I seeing 2? I'm seeing it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
6 times.
Okay, so let's try and make this so we want to see 3 numbers. So do you agree? If I say 2 times 2 gives me 4, so that gets rid of this one.
1, 2.
Oh, let's go darker color. This one and this one, hey?
Yes.
All right. Times by. Can I say these next ones? 2 times 2, what will 2 times 2 give me? Another?
4.
4, hey? And finally, times by, what's 2 times 2 again? It gives me
4.
4. So now, am I seeing 4 3 times? 4 times 4 times 4.
Yes, I am.
So what's the cube root of 64? What is it going to be? It's going to be
4.
4. Okay.
Oh,
Can you see
yes,
one
ma'am.
way of doing it? Okay.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
one way you can do it. You can use the notation that we learned last week, exponential notation, to help you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Asante, for your question. Guys, I'm going to go through the square roots and then I will answer some more questions. Okay. So let's have a look. The square roots. So there were some tricky ones in here. I agree with you. I threw some challenges in here. All right. So the square root of 1,600. My word. I haven't done the square root of 1,600 for a long time. I don't know about you, Hugo, but let's have a look at it. So I know what the square root of 16 is. And do I see 16 in 1,600? I do see 16 in 1,600, hey? I know that the square root of 16 is equal to 4. I agree with you, all right? And then I see 2 zeros. So I know if I'm going to square a number that's got a 0 in it, what's going to happen? I'm going to see the 0 twice. So that means that my square root of 1,600 is going to give me 40. So that one was a nice challenge. I'm seeing a few people put 400. Guys, remember to go check your answer. So if I go do 40 times 40 on the side here, all right, 40 times 40, let's go calculate 40 times 40 quickly. All right, so 40 times 40. Well, the 4 times by the 4 will give me 16. And how many zeros do I see? 1, 2. So it's going to be 1,600. Nice. Right. The square root of 144 is 12. Okay, those are one of those ones that you just have to learn, guys. Okay, who can give me the square root of 196? That one was a challenge as well. All right, but we should be able to get 196. What's the square root of 196, guys? Square root of 196. Good, it is 14. All right, the square root of 196 is 14. Fantastic. Right, what is the square root of 625? We've seen that one before. We've done it together. Good, 25. Fantastic. Right, what is the square root of 900? Again, another challenge for you. Well done. Well done, everybody. Much more people trying this one out this time. It's 30. Good. The square root of 16, I'm getting 4. And the square root of 400, let's go try that one now using the trick I taught you just now. Good. It's going to be 20. Well done, everyone. Okay, I definitely think we need a bit of a brain break now. So while you are trying my brain break challenge, okay, I'm going to answer some more questions. So have a look at this brain break challenge for me. Right, the challenge says, move only 3 circles to turn this triangle upside down. So you'll see there's a whole lot of different colored triangles there. You need to move 3 of those circles so that the triangle is upside down. Right, so it goes from being the one way around to being the other way around. Okay, and in the meantime, I'm going to go on to 2 more questions, and then we're going to finish off the last bit of our lesson for today. So, Shakina, how can I help you, Shakina?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask, in cube roots, is there a need for the numbers to be simplified, and if so, when?
In cube roots, is there a number? Can you give me an example, Shakina? Do you want to give me an example and I'll do it on this page?
For example, the cube root of 600 and of the cube root of 625 is 25.
So if it asks you, what is the cube root? The cube root of 625. Okay,
Yeah.
then all your answer needs to be is you can just say 25. That's all your answer needs to be, 25. What is the cube root of 625? It's 25.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm answering one more and then I'm going to solve the challenge for you. So I've got Unati. Unati, how can I help you?
Ma'am, when it comes to the cube roots, must you look which number can fit into example 9? Must you look which number can fit into 9, ma'am?
So for 9, you can't really get a cube root for 9, but you can get what is the cube root of 27? The cube root of 27, and what that means is we're asking ourselves, what number goes into 27 3 times? What exact same number goes into 27 3 times? And so for that one, what's really nice about 27 is we can climb the ladder like we did last week. So the first prime number that goes into 27, very luckily for us, is 3. 27 divided by 3 will give us 9. Can we divide 9 by 3? Yes, we can.
Yes.
Can we divide 3 by 3? Yes, we can.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that means that the cube root of 27 is going to be
1.
Careful, not 1. It's going to be 3 because 3 times 3 times 3 is going to give you 27. Okay,
Thank you,
can you
ma'am.
see how I saw this? You're welcome, no problem. Okay, let's solve this challenge quickly. I'm seeing lots of people told me that I must move the first 3 to the top, that I must move the bottom. All right, let's have a look. So if I'm doing this, I'm going to move them quickly. I definitely am going to move this first one. I agree with you. I'm definitely going to move the first one. Oh dear. Let's put my pen down so that doesn't write all over the place. Okay, so I'm definitely moving my first one to the bottom, guys. I agree with you. So there's my first hint. All right, I've moved the first one to the bottom. All right. Now I'm seeing people say move the side ones. So what if I had to do this now? Are you ready? Let's move this one to the top. And let's move this one to the top. Right, is my triangle upside down? Yes, it is. So that was a bit of a brain break for all of us in the middle of our lesson. I hope that you enjoyed that one. On Wednesday, we will have a bit more of a challenging question, but this was just a nice brain break for us. Right, let's finish off our lesson for today. So, another way for them to ask us, okay, how to write these kind of questions is for them to say to us, all right, what is the mathematical symbol? Okay, what is the mathematical symbol that we can use to indicate each of the following? All right, so what kind of mathematical symbol am I going to use, all right, to show this? I'm going to want to show the square root of 169. So good, I'm seeing some people right in there. When I want to show the square root of 169, I use this symbol, 169. So I put it under a little house. I like that. A little square root house. Good. Okay, so square root of 169 is going to give me 13. Okay. All right. Now, what about the cube root of 343, guys? How do I write the cube root of 343? I like that way that people told me earlier. I'm going to go and I'm going to put a little house on it. But now I want to show that it's the cube root, not the square root. So what am I going to have? I'm going to put a little tiny 3 at the top, and I'm going to write 343. Now for me, the first one was really easy. I didn't mind that the square root of 169, I knew that that was 13, so I'm going to leave it there. I can't remember off the top of my head what the cube root of 343. Oh, I'm seeing Tyra's given to me as 7. Thank you, Tyra. I'll put him in there for now. All right. But if they've just asked me for the mathematical symbol, I can leave it as the mathematical symbol, guys. The next one asks me for the square root of 2,500. So I'm going to draw my square root house, and I'm going to put 2,500. And if you're using that little cheat that I taught you earlier, the square root of 2,500 is going to give you 50. And finally, the square of 25. Now be careful. Be careful, everybody, because did it ask you for the square root this time? Or did it ask you for the square of 25? So be careful. This time it asked you for the square of 25. So it wants you to give 25 squared. And we know that 25 squared was 625.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, how can I help?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, ma'am, what's the difference between a cube root and a square root?
Okay, so when I'm looking for a square root, I want to know the number times the number, so twice. Okay, so square, so twice. Okay,
Yes,
all right. When I'm looking for the cube roots, how many times am I looking for it now?
3 times.
What have we been? 3 times. Good. So I want to see the number 3 times.
Three.
Okay. Good. So what you tell me now? What's the difference? How many times do I want to see the number for square?
The number twice.
Good. And for cube?
3 times.
Good. Nice. Well done. Does it make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Well
ma'am.
done. Thanks, Penelope. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ritonde? Ritonde, do you have your question for me? All right. Dundee, can I answer your question for you? All right. Ulesle?
Ma'am, how do we get the square root of 900?
How do we get the square root of 900? Okay, remember earlier when we were having a look at the square root of things like 400 and the square root of 1,900? All right, first of all, we say to ourselves, well, we're not sure what the square root of 900 is, but do we know what the square root of 9 is?
Yes, ma'am, it's 3.
What's the square root of 9?
3.
3, good. All right, and then how do I get the 2 zeros at the end when I'm working with squares? Can you remember? What number when I square the number 10, what number does it give me? For example.
Hmm.
So like 10 squared, what's 10 times 10?
10 times 10. It's
Yeah.
100.
100, good. So do you agree, if I've got 3 times 3, it'll give me 9, hey?
Yes.
And then what happens if I take that and I say, okay, well, the 3 times 3 gives me the 9. And if I add the 0, now I've got 30 times 30. So what's 30 times 30? It's going to give me 900, hey?
900.
Good.
Yes,
Does
ma'am.
it make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Well
Thank you,
done.
ma'am.
You're welcome. Now you know how to do the challenging ones. Well done. Right. Masigoma?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, how can I help?
So, ma'am, can I ask, when there's a square root, how do we,
Yep.
when there's a square root, how do we get like the certain amount? Like, since you knew that the answer was 2,500, how did you actually get the answer of 25?
Okay, let's have a look. All right. So the one with 2,500, you're asking me here.
Yes,
Where
ma'am.
is that one? Where is he? This one here, 2,500. Okay. So
Number 4.
yeah.
Sorry, ma'am, number
All
4.
right. No, that's fine. This one here, the square root of 2,500. Is that the one you're asking for here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you tell me. First of all, do any of the numbers look familiar in 2,500? Do we know the square root of any of those numbers?
Yes, ma'am.
Which ones do we know the square root of?
25, I think. 50.
Good. We know the square root of 25, okay? So what's the square root of 25? What
25.
times what will give you 25?
I forgot, ma'am. I don't know.
That's okay. So the square root of 25 is 5, okay? 5 times 5 gives you 25.
Oh,
Right. So that one's familiar. Do you agree? For
yes, ma'am.
2,500. All right. Then remember how we've been practicing this whole lesson. How are we going to get the double zeros when we're doing square roots? What's the square root of having double zeros? We need to have 1 0, hey? So we
Okay.
know what the square root of 25 is. It's 5. And if we want to get the square root of double zeros, what are we going to have? We're going to have 1 0.
1 0.
Okay. And then how can you go check?
You can times the number that you got
Good.
until you get the answer.
Nice. Fantastic. And what's 50 times 50? What will it give you?
50 times 50, 25.
It'll give you
2,500.
2,005. Very good. Well done. Nice. Well done. Does it make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Well done. You're welcome. See you on Wednesday. Right. Dimple, how can I help you?
Ma'am, I have this question. Every time, like for example, if I take 25 to the power of 2, then I add it with 30 to the power of 4.
Yeah.
How do we do it? How do we get our answer?
25 to the power of 2 plus 30 to the power of 4.
Yes.
Okay, so what you need to do is you need to do the question separately. And on Wednesday, we're doing those questions. Have a look here. That's all in our lesson on Wednesday. Look at all these beautiful sums I've got for you for Wednesday. We're going to learn how we put it all together. Okay, can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness, don't block your eyes. It's going to be fun. Okay, on Wednesday, I promise we're going to learn all about how to do it. We're going to learn about BODMAS and we're going to go through it nice and slowly, okay? I will see
Yes,
you on
ma'am.
Wednesday, Dimple.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye. Right, Piwa? Piwa, do you have a question?
Yes,
Yes, how can I help?
ma'am, I want to ask something.
Ask.
What is the difference on square roots and cube roots?
Okay, so for square roots, you're asking yourself for two numbers. What number times what number will give you the answer? For
Yes.
cube roots, you're going to say what number times what number times what number will give you the answer. So you're looking for three numbers.
Yeah.
So for squares, how many numbers are you looking for? Two numbers here. And for cubes, you're looking for three numbers. Right. I hope that explains it to you all. Okay, guys, if you don't have any more questions, you can log off. Akwande, I'm answering two more questions. Akwande, how can I help you?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, ma'am, in square roots, ma'am, do you divide or times?
When you're square rooting something, you're asking yourself what times what will give you the answer. So you could say you're dividing when you're square rooting, because if you're looking for the square root of 25, then you're going to say 25 divided by 5 will give you 5. So I suppose you could say you're dividing, but it's much easier to ask yourself what times what will give you the answer.
Yes, ma'am. In cube
Does that
roots,
make
ma'am.
sense? Yeah, and cube roots is the same thing. You're just asking yourself now three numbers. What times what times what?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Rafilwe, how can I help you?
Mom, I need help with the question.
Okay, say it again for me, Rafilwe. We just can't hear you.
Ma'am, I need help with the setup question.
Okay, what's your question?
My it is my but it's related to this.
Okay, is it one of the questions we covered in class today, Rafilwe, or?
It is.
Oh, I think we've lost Rafilwe's sound. Rafilwe, I'm going to answer one more question and then I'll ask Mr. Hugo not to put you in the waiting room. Okay, you've put it inside the chat. All right, Rafilwe, I'll ask Mr. Hugo if he can just answer you quickly in the chat, very quickly, and I'm going to answer one more question quickly. I'm going to answer, who have I not spoken to today? Somnoto, how can I help you? Somnoto, you are unmuted. Okay, so Noto is gone, so I will pick one more person at random. Les Tomo, I haven't heard from you today. Last question for tonight. How can we help you? Okay, it looks like we've lost Les Tomo. Right, everybody, myself and Mr. Hugo are going to another class, so we're going to have to log off and see you on Wednesday. If you do have some questions that are burning questions, please remember to keep them till then and we will answer them then. Have a lovely evening, everybody.